Okay, so in this video, we're going to be looking at how to create a cross-product calculator using Excel. So let's zoom in so we can make this easier to see. Now, when we're calculating the cross product in Excel, or at any point, we basically start with a matrix and we calculate the determinant for a set of two vectors and an abstract vector. So in our top row, we're going to put our I, J, K vectors for our coordinate positions. And then in the next two rows, what we enter when we calculate our cross product formula is the two vectors we're going to find the cross product of. So let's choose some arbitrary vectors to do our calculation with. So let's say I want to calculate the cross product between 1, -2, 4, and 2, -1, 2, -1, 3. All right, so this is our initial setup. And so what we want to calculate then are the coefficients of the resulting vector that is perpendicular to both of these vectors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a solution over here. I'm going to put the I component here in this entry, and I'm going to leave a space here for a calculation. I'm going to put the J component over here, and I'm going to leave a space for the calculation, and put the K component over here, and again, a space in front for the calculation. Now, recall that the way that this works is that we're going to block out the I column, and then we're going to calculate essentially the 2x2 determinant of these entries. So this entry times this entry minus this entry times this entry. So we're going to create that formula equals, and again, using cell references, this entry times this entry minus this entry times this entry. And then in this one, remember in the J direction, we have to add an extra negative sign. And then we block out this one and we do the same thing. This one times this one minus this one times this one. And we can visually see it, which is nice with all the different colors, so that we can see, okay, yes, we're leaving out the correct column and our eyes are not deceiving us. It's very easy when we try to do this by hand to tell yourself, like, I'm going to do these, and then you forget while you're actually doing the calculations. And then in this one, we block out the K column and we do this one times this one minus this one times this one. And so now here is our vector that is perpendicular to the other two vectors. And the beauty of doing this, setting this up in Excel like this, is that if I decide that I want to try calculating the cross product of different vectors, I don't have to change anything about my setup or my formulas. I just change my vectors. So now let's say I want to do the cross product of 3 minus 4, 5, and 1, 0, 7. It's already, the formulas are already set up, so the calculation updates as you replace the vectors. So you don't ever have to worry about doing that formula ever again, unless, of course, you're not allowed to use Excel during an exam. But when you're doing your homework or doing this sort of on your own, it's always good to have sort of a check and a backup that you can go to make sure that you've done the formula and you've done the calculations correctly.